George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Amazon Shipping has the technology and transportation network to move your business forward. Whether you ship on weekdays or weekends, we've got you covered. Put the strength of Amazon behind your business. Get daily pickups, transparent rates, fast claims, and smooth deliveries. Deliver. Snap. Daily. Reliable, simple, easy. That's us.
あと3日で作業は完了する。したがってお前たちのやっている仕事の目的をここで説明しておかなくてはならぬ。
Those eyes, those horrible yellow eyes.
Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. What's up everyone, I'm the Kaiju no Kamen from the Toku and Animation News Network. Today I'm taking a look at Discotek's Blu-ray release of Kamen Rider Amazon. You know, this is going to look really great in the green screen. Oh my god, it's gonna look so great. Kamen Rider Amazon had a very infamous history of misinformation and misunderstandings. For years, I was led to believe that the show had been cancelled due to extremely poor ratings caused by the level of violence the show endured. Although, this aspect confused me because the show is no more or less violent than Ultraman Taro, a series that was said to be extremely kid-friendly. You know, the show where Taro tears out a monster's stomach, turns another's children into a delicacy,
Taroは小さなカニたちを殺したのではなかった。巨大化することのないように特殊光線を浴びせたのだ。
これを見てくださいよ。おいおい、あのお化けガニが死んだあたりにはこいつがうじゃうじゃしていますよ。
一月のち東京湾で美味しいカニが無数に取れた。子供たちもこの時だけは腹いっぱいカニを食べた。これも太郎のおかげなのだ。太郎のささやかなプレゼント。
and punches a hole through an alien. It has been revealed through Discotek's Blu-ray that none of that was true. Kamen Rider was going to be changing networks in early 1975, moving from NET to TBS, but Toei was still contracted to fill in the void that was left by Kamen Rider X in 74. As such, the next show was always only going to end up being a half-year series. The problem stems from Amazon having an identity crisis where the show wanted to be something entirely different, but then had to bring itself back into something audiences were more familiar with due to it having lower ratings than X. Although, Amazon was at a 15.7%, whereas X was at 16.1%. So, I'm a bit confused on how exactly that really is a big difference. It's 4 points. The ratings were poor enough to warrant an overhaul, forcing it to be written no different than the series before it. I just don't get why executives are so afraid of change. Okay. Let me restate that. I don't get why people in general are afraid of change. Change can be good, especially when it comes down to a series that is very formulaic and follows the same beats as its predecessors. Did Amazon suffer because of this? Watch to find out. The Heroes! Kamen Rider Amazon features a lone hero who comes to Japan from, well, the Amazon. Daisuke Yamamoto lost his family in a plane crash when he was a baby. They were flying over the Amazon rainforest when things went awry, leaving him in the care of the forest natives. Many years later, the rainforest comes under attack by a being known as the Ten-Faced Demon, who's after an ancient artifact called the Gigi Armlet. It is said the being who combines the Gigi Armlet with its counterpart, the Gaga Armlet, which is attached to the Ten-Faced Demon, will have unlimited power.
その腕輪を奪って我がケドンは
この十面鬼の力で
世界を支配するのだ。
The village elder uses the last of his strength to fuse the Gigi armlet to Daisuke's arm, allowing him to transform into the humanoid beast warrior called Amazon. Daisuke is sent to Japan by the elder before he dies to seek help from an archaeologist who visited their village years prior. Unfortunately, the professor is killed by the 10-faced demon's minions, leaving him to traverse Japan without any way of speaking to the locals. Nevertheless, the professor's nephew, Masahiko Okumura, befriends Daisuke and slowly teaches him how to speak Japanese over the course of the series.
僕が日本語の先生になってやる。月夜のカラス。
月のカラス
Masahiko's sister, Ritsuko, initially fears Daisuke, but comes to accept him as a friend over time as well.
マサヒコを助けてやって。あなたより他に助けてくれる人はいないんです。お願いです。お願い。
The trio are played by Toru Okazaki.
あれもガランダの仕業だ。俺はヘリウム爆弾のある奴らの本拠を探してるんだ。
そうだったのか。
Yoji Matsuda.
またアマゾンのことね。
いいじゃないかなんでも。
お姉ちゃんお前のことが心配なのよ。
悪いのはゲドンだよ。アマゾンはいい人間なんだ。
And Maruko Matsuoka.
みんな明るく生きているのに。みんなアマゾン、あいつのせいだわ。
ああ、あれ嘘。
Matsuda would have a prominent acting career and go on to voice Ashitaka in Princess Mononoke and Asbel in Nausicaa Valley of the Wind, on top of having random character roles in things like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. His career was also boosted by him being the Japanese dub voice of Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Titanic. Daisuke is such an interesting protagonist because he doesn't really say much of anything for the first half of the series, mostly just grunting, and then becomes much more engaging in the second half after he has been taught how to speak by Matsuhiko. It also makes Matsuhiko the most active child character in a Kamen Rider series up to this point, as he had a true purpose in the lead hero's character development.
僕がアマゾンに得意したのさ。もともとアマゾンは頭がいいのから覚えるのも早い。
ははマサヒコ、アマゾンの先生。
Hell, the whole reason Daisuke is called Amazon Rider is because Matsuhiko calls him a Kamen Rider.
ライダー。そうさ、アマゾンライダーだもん。
アマゾンライダー。仮面ライダー。
Even his sister is responsible for Daisuke having more than just a loincloth to wear all series.
日本の冬は寒いのよ。これ私たちからのプレゼント。
どうアマゾン、着心地は。
アマゾン。嬉しい。
Another thing I love about Daisuke is how clever he is. There is one episode featuring a monster who is watching Daisuke from the shadows to find an object, and when Daisuke leaves, he starts to follow the child who has possession of this item, not realizing Daisuke didn't actually depart, rather hid himself to follow him.
僕はあのインカ人形見たかったんだ。じゃあね。
今度
とうとう本物のインカ人形の行方がつかめたぞ。あの小僧をつければもが
アマゾンを見張っていたつもりだろうが、逆に見張られていたんだ。
You know, he might actually be my favorite of the original Showa riders. The Amazon design itself is quite unique. While it is based on a lizard, I personally think he resembles a piranha, which fits with his themes of tearing his adversaries to shreds. Or does he just give them rabies? It's hard to tell. His belt has what appears to be a saw blade with handles on it, which can be used as a weapon or pull out a rope to swing across trees. His motorcycle, called the Jungler, pops off-screen due to its vibrant red color scheme, though the fins can be a bit of an eyesore. I don't mind them, but I do think they should have been smaller. Tachibana shows up in this series because why wouldn't he be there? I really don't have much to say about Tachibana at this point as he's just there. He doesn't ever go home or go to his shop at all, leaving me to wonder if he gave up on running a business. It was funny to see how determined he was to get Daisuke to ride his motorcycle though.
乗る乗らないは別にして説明だけはするぞ。アクセル、ブレーキ、いいか。このクラッチを引いてギアを入れる。
The final ally to Daisuke is a former monster of the 10-faced demon named Mole Beastman. Mole Beastman failed in his mission to kill Daisuke, which resulted in his torturing that would soon lead to his execution. Daisuke rescued him, nursing him back to health, turning him into a friend.
Amazon! Amazon! 俺、お前、友達。
His ability to dig underground allows him to occasionally sneak around enemies to deduce their plot, or also help Daisuke escape certain doom.
Amazon! 早く!
He ended up being a really likable character that Ryu Saikachi perfectly voiced, as you knew when to feel sorry for him and when to be frustrated with him.
これから俺も生きていくために少し社会勉強をしなくちゃ長生きできんもんな。
バカみたい。
バカじゃないよ。
The villains. Despite only being 24 episodes, there are 2 different factions Amazon has to contend with, and honestly, they suck. They are easily the worst thing about this show. The first group is Get On, led by the 10-faced demon. Gorgles, the actual name of the 10-faced demon, has a lot of interesting ideas that go nowhere. He's a being that is encased in a large stone-like cylinder with 9 faces around his so-called abdomen. He then has a normal body and a demonic head. He makes me think of Bowser from Super Mario World, as I'm not sure if that giant boulder is meant to be his actual body or not. Apparently, the 9 faces on the body all have their own backstory and personalities, ranging from Nazis, corrupted anchormen, gangsters, religious zealots, and the like, though the show never explores this aspect at all. You could have spent 10 episodes alone just developing this dude's entire personality, but instead, he's as generic as the previous Kamen Rider bosses.
生き恥はさらせまい。お待ちください。最後の爪の甘さは認めます。しかし、奴をあと一歩まで追い込んだ。
Voice actor Ritsuo Sawa doesn't seem to really know what to do with him beyond the basics.
Amazon ライダー。次に死ぬのは貴様だ。
We know he is ruthless. He has no qualms about murdering those who failed him on the spot.
アマゾンを仕留められなかったそうな。お待ちください、10面貴様。それは言い訳は聞かん。
He isn't afraid to take matters into his own hands when necessary. It's just that the show fails to do anything worthwhile with him because he's removed from the board way too early. There's not much else to say about Getting Beyond. They have a pretty cool theme song. The foot soldier porn stars return and kind of do nothing we haven't seen grunts do in the past, only this time they're all women. They're called the Red Followers because they wear red outfits with a lot of white tassels. Halfway through the show, Get On is replaced with the Garender Empire. 第一に研究不足、第二に面白くない。 第三にこれでは滅んだゲドンの作戦と同じことだ。Get On had plots? Garender is led by Osamu Saka's disembodied voice, who is the voice on the tape recorders the villains heard in the previous show. ヘリウム爆弾に電動の次元爆弾装置を取り付けよう。Zero the Great is Garender's general, played by Masons Hirohisa Nakata and Bioman. 教えてやろう。今日の午後1時。 この中の指令室でボタンを押せば新宿西口パインビルの地下で爆発が起こる。 Like Gorgos, Zero has a lot of mythology to go with him while doing absolutely nothing. His winged helmet, blue spear, and cloak he wears over his armor was apparently passed down to him, but you wouldn't really notice that due to how poorly executed he is.
もっと子供たちをさらって人手を増やし、明日一日で準備を完了させろ。
I just don't really understand the point of having two different factions in such a short series. They could have easily just had Zero appear as a general to Gorgos or something. Oh, and Garanger's line of grunts are back to being male soldiers who do nothing of value. They dress in black, therefore they're called black followers. The monsters of the week are called Beastmen and they work for both groups. I do have to give props to the production crew for the Beastmen as many of them look terrifying as hell.
この平和な団地がやがては地獄の団地になるのだ。京子、近づくな、京子。
モモンガー獣人の殺人ガスは人間の体を溶かし白骨にする力がある。
Yeah, no, fuck that. The effects and music. The effects and music are on par with Kamen Rider X. Shunsuke Kikuchi continued to helm the soundtrack with a lot of really great tunes. Masato Shiman returned to sing the theme songs. The opening is titled Kamen Rider Koku ni Yori and sounds just like the previous openings. I don't dislike it, but you will be hard-pressed to find me ever listening to it outside of the show. On the other hand, I really like Amazon Da Da Da. It's quite catchy and I wish it was longer. There are definitely a lot of gore or gore-like effects going on with the show, which does make it stand out from other Rider series.
There's blood everywhere, all over me, all over the bushes, and there's pieces of him floating in the water.
I do like seeing monsters torn to pieces, although the effect does not always work out, as seen here. I guess he just needed a hand. There's a couple neat pieces of camera work and fights, even if they're nothing groundbreaking. The episode. Amazon is both fun and frustrating at the same time. I really like how the show tried to do so much different. We had the Tarzan setting, but instead of bringing civilization to him, he goes to it. In fact, the only reason Gedan came to Japan is because Daisuke did, which was a neat twist. I loved Daisuke spending half the show trying to fit in with society, unsure as to what to do, constantly being mistaken for an enemy due to the way he dresses and cannot speak. There's even a moment where he thinks he is just going to go back home instead of staying due to the way he's treated. Watching him grow is a real treat, and I love how Masahiko has a true purpose in the show instead of just being a child character for the sake of being a child character. It's also nice that his sister isn't always around just to get kidnapped. However, there are some pretty horrible flaws to this series, many of them pertaining to the villains and their plots, or rather the lack thereof. There are a multitude of episodes that seem to be very light on plot with Gedan just randomly doing stuff. The biggest offender for this is episode 8's The Crocodile Beast Man Who Attacked the School. In this episode, Crocodile Beastman is hiding in a school's biology specimen room because they want to kidnap children and cook them for dinner. I'm not kidding. That's the entire plot of this episode.
あれだけの子供がいれば当分の間食料には不自由しない。菅野山の燻製工場で蒸し焼きの準備をしております。
今夜は美味しい子供たちの燻製が食べられる。それじゃあそろそろスイッチを入れようか。
Daisuke gets mistaken for being a part of this plot and is nearly lynched by a mob, but still goes out to rescue everyone. This episode is an utter waste of time as nothing of value came out of it, and the worst part is, this was a common trend for this series. It's like the writers were out of ideas and made the show up as they went along. Nevertheless, I found myself starting to really enjoy it as it progressed, only for it to end on a whimper. I just don't get how a show they knew was only going to be a half year in length could fumble the ball so badly as if the finale came up quicker than the writers anticipated. The ending just feels tacked on. The plot twist is not really a twist, as it's just generic ho-hum slop that I've come to expect from the Showa-era Kamen Rider finales. Thankfully, there are a lot of really enjoyable episodes, with my favorite being episode 12's I Saw It! Gedan's Beastman Remodeling Room. This one is quite interesting in the way it is paced. At the start, a girl has been taken hostage by a man on death row and orders the police to leave him be.
どうしたんですか強盗殺人犯が
女がそれしてされてんだ
Daisuke sneaks in the cabin to rescue the girl. The murderer is kidnapped by Gedan while being escorted to prison and transformed into a beast man. I love the aspect of a regular dude being turned into a beast man. It was funny to see Gorgo say this when Gedan only had 2 episodes left after this one.
ゲドンの獣人はまだまだおるわ。アマゾン。ゲドンは不死身だ。
And if you didn't notice, this is the episode with the handy effect. The Blu-ray! Here's the cover to the slipcase from Discotek. The spine, part 1. Here's the other spine, the backside. And then you take it out of the slipcase. The back is pretty much the same. Here is the cover, the spine again. And then we've got 2 discs and trays, 12 episodes on each, and the bonus features. And then some cool compilation art. If you've seen their other Kamen Rider releases, then you already know what to expect. Video and audio quality is solid. I didn't really notice any dips in quality in either department. Audio never felt echoey or anything distorted, which was good. The subtitle translations were solid and in the usual format with yellow subs or dialogue, blue subs in the corner for song lyrics.
Amazon だな。構いたくはないが、俺の作戦を成功させるためには見逃すわけにはいかない。
The bonus features are also your typical fare with the essay that really gives some great insight on the production history of the show, providing us with concrete information on what went down during Amazon's production. The photo gallery includes some pretty cool production artwork. Finally, the 3 interviews include one of Okazaki alone.
仮面ライダー東映さんから来た時はお断りしとったんです。で企画書だけでも目通してくれと。
Matsuda by himself.
現場にご自分の車で行く時に乗っけてっていただいたりとか、よくしていただきました。でもやっぱり今にして思えばやっぱりそのライダーに限らず子供番組全般を広く。
And then the duel together.
今でこそ割と不安イベント的なものっていうのはいろんなところで行われてますけど、当時はそんなことなかったですもんね。
と思いますね。
そういうことするっていう。
I do like hearing from Matsuda as he gets to put his perspective of being a child actor into the mix.
放り込まれそうになったのを親が必死で止めてた記憶っていうのはなぜかこれは強烈に覚えてますね。今川とかでもそうですけど、あの時代って多分一番汚かったんですよね。今やっぱり規制がやっぱりすごくなって今綺麗になってるじゃないですか、川とかも。で当時の東京湾って子供心にもやっぱりすごい汚かったっていうのがあって。
Amazon had a lot of potential squandered by poor writing, terrible planning, and scared executives. However, I think I'm going to be a bit more lenient on this one compared to others because I did enjoy most of what Amazon had to offer. Therefore, I am going to give Kamen Rider Amazon a pretty generous and solid 4 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. It could have been better. It should have been better, but for what it was, I was thoroughly entertained. I found myself really getting into this series just for it to kind of end, and think that every Kamen Rider fan should definitely check this one out, especially if you start to feel a bit of burnout from the Showa era of Kamen Rider. Until next time, bye.